Hello, Mr. Silverwood. This is Anthony Crate speaking. Welcome to my video about New Zealand's mountains and how they have influenced some of the native species we have here. In the North Island of New Zealand, we only have 3 mountains above 2,000 meters, and all of them are actually volcanoes. Uh-oh. Hello. Yes. These mountains are Mount Ngarahoe, Mount Ruapehu, and Mount Taranaki. In the South Island, mountains dominate the landscape. About 60% of the South Island is covered with mountains over 1,500 meters high. And around the central Southern Alps, some of the mountains can be more than twice this height. Mount Cook, for example, the tallest mountain in New Zealand, soars 3,700 meters into the sky. The Southern Alps,
our most famous mountain range, spans pretty much the entire length of the South Island, from Nelson Lakes all the way to Fiordlands. This incredible mountain range exists because of tectonic activity. The South Island is placed right on the boundary.
The boundary between the Pacific tectonic plate and the Australasian plate. This boundary is where the two plates meet and move against each other. This causes our country's earthquakes quite often, but ultimately over a long time has formed our mountains, like the Southern Alps. These were formed by the two tectonic plates colliding and pushing into each other over a very long time. As the Pacific plate pushes under the Australasian plate, they exert immense pressure on the Earth's crust, causing it to buckle and fold and push the land upwards, forming the mountain range. The Alpine Fault, a 600-kilometer fault line running the length of the South Island, is a major feature resulting from this tectonic activity. The fault line has ruptured every 300 years like clockwork throughout history, constantly changing our mountain range with every single quake. This here is Griffin Creek Canyon. Now, Griffin's Creek is interesting because it runs directly through the Alpine Fault, crossing both the Pacific Plate and the Australasian Plate. At the bottom of the canyon, you can literally see the fault line. Another interesting thing to note is the Australasian Plate primarily consists of granite-type rock, whereas the Pacific Plate is primarily schist rock. The Southern Alps are one of the most rapidly rising mountain ranges in the world, growing at a rate of 7 to 20 millimeters per year. And that's pretty fast compared to global standards. Really fast. How fast can you run around P1? Rule number 2, have to be wearing Crocs.
2, 1, go!
Erosion is one of the main factors for slowing this rate of growth down and further shaping the Southern Alps to be what they look like today. After the Ice Age, significant changes were made to our mountain ranges by glacial erosion. Glacial erosion. Since then, rainfall has kept this erosion process up. While plate movement is pushing the mountains up, rainfall is wearing them down. The Southern Alps and the Chilean Andes are the only significant barriers to the moisture-laden westerly winds that circle the Southern Ocean. Upon reaching the mountains, the air rises and then drops lots of rain on the west coasts of both of these mountain ranges. In New Zealand, this is the West Coast region, west side of the Southern Alps. In the Southern Alps, rock is split by the stresses of rapid uplift, and temperatures often shift from freezing to thawing. Combined with high rainfall, this results in very rapid rates of weathering and erosion. The results of this vigorous erosion is apparent in the widespread slopes of eroding scree and the expanses of boulders and gravel that make up the riverbeds of some of our larger rivers. Now, rivers are usually great for kayaking, but there's been bugger all rain recently, so we've had to improvise.
Oh my god!
Whoa!
It's weight on my bottom!
Okay, now it's time to talk about plants and species and whatnot. New Zealand's high and rugged mountains have led to the evolution of numerous species which are adapted to cold, barren, glacial, and high altitude conditions. There are more than 600 species of plants that regularly occur above the tree line, and over 90% of these are endemic. Now, many of these native alpine plants have white or sometimes yellow flowers. Even the plant types that grow elsewhere in a range of different colors usually only produce white or yellow flowers in the alpine environment. The likely explanation for this is that New Zealand alpine plants are mostly pollinated by insects such as beetles, flies, and moths, instead of being pollinated by birds. And insects like this are not typically attracted to bright colors, so the plants did not evolve to produce colorful flowers. A great example of this is the Mount Cook buttercup. Note the yellow and white flowers. Like others in the buttercup family, it has developed a clever way to help it survive in the harsh alpine environment. So plants have stomachs or pores in their leaves, which let water in and out. Most plants have these stomachs on the cooler, shaded underside of their leaf, so they are less vulnerable to drying out. But because the Mount Cook buttercup often grows among rocks which heat up during the day, it has evolved to have stomachs on both sides of its leaves. Very interesting. Another plant species which is adapted to thrive in mountainous areas is snow totara. Snow totara is part of the portercup family, but unlike its big brother who dwells in the lowlands, snow totara likes to get high in the mountains. To adapt to this lifestyle, snow totara has evolved to be a low-spreading shrub its whole life and never grows into a big tree. Some other evolutionary changes include tough needle-like leaves and deep penetrating root systems which allow it to cling onto steep and unstable scree slopes. These adaptations have made snow totara thrive in extreme conditions, withstanding freezing temps, strong winds, and limited water.
3, 2, 1.
Oh shit!
Now let's talk about some of the animal kingdom species that have adapted to our mountains. Firstly, one of my favorite birds, the kea. I filmed these cheeky mountain birds last year on Fox Glacier. Kea are the only mountain-dwelling parrot in the world. Now, research suggests that historically kea lived throughout alpine and lowland areas of New Zealand. But after 100 years of intense hunting pressure from humans, these birds retreated into the mountains. This indicates that their current distribution across the Southern Alps is more of a result of recent driven pressure from humans rather than a long-term evolutionary adaptation. Although you can still find them in some lowland areas, they are more commonly occupying mountainous terrain. So essentially, the mountains have influenced this species by providing a safe haven from humans.
3, 2, 1. He did not jump out. He did not jump
Oh! Oh!
Dang it, not quite at 10 minutes yet. Well, another bird that's adapted to mountainous areas is the rock wren. This here is a New Zealand rock wren. Now, I don't have any footage of these birds, so please just enjoy my GoPro videos from Harwood's Hole. Now, this tiny little bird is the only bird species in New Zealand that spends its entire life year-round above the bushline. Like the kea, they are only found in the South Island. Rock wren, or piwowo, have a number of evolutionary adaptations which the mountains have influenced. Firstly, their size. Like I said, these birds are particularly tiny. They grow to a maximum of 10 centimeters long and weigh up to only 20 grams. Their small size means they are able to fit into small cracks and cavities in the rock where they build their nests and hibernate during the cold winter months. For how small these birds are, they have quite large feet. These large feet are specialized for navigating and climbing around the rough and rocky terrain of the mountains. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. In conclusion, it's evident that tectonic activity has shaped New Zealand's mountains like the Southern Alps, and these mountains have heavily influenced our native species and their evolutionary adaptation. I hope you found this video informative and entertaining. Thanks for watching.